All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to pre-market prep at the close. Spencer Israel. Joel is, of course, still out for the week, but I'm bringing on a new friend every day. Today, my boy Zunaid is hopping on. Zunaid, what up? How we doing?
Doing all right, man. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I was your backup. I appreciate it.
Always number two. Number one, number two on the list, number one in our hearts. Zunaid.
I love it.
What have you been trading recently?
You know, for me, it's mainly been, well, today's been murderous, if you will, if that's even a word, but the small caps, right? Like the hot IPOs, the low floats. That's been great. That's what I traded yesterday. UNCY was a good one.
Pull that chart
Played some, yeah. Yesterday, I think it IPO'd around 8, bottomed at 4. And then once it kind of made a base and a foundation, had some patterns looking in, went ahead and traded that. Look at that. Look how ugly that looks afterwards.
UNCY. This is a low float one. This one was discussed on Monday with Matt Hammond on the stream. So wait, walk us through this trade. So you weren't trading all this stuff.
No. For me, it's all about, hey, where does it base? Where does it bottom out? And then what kind of breakout that I can play, right? So you can see around, I think it was like 12 o'clock, that it's kind of basing right for $4 was, I think, the low, if you will, at that point. So for me, I know that, hey, if I'm going to take the trade over, let's just say $5, I know that my risk is $4, below 4. So I know my risk is like $1. And you can see that huge gap. That's a gap that I tried to play. And of course, I think Atlas and a bunch of other rooms were a part of it as well. It didn't get the whole gap, but it went all the way up to, I think, about 643. So the risk reward of $1 to $1, that was met. I didn't get the full gap. But of course I scaled out and it was pretty fine and dandy. But thankfully I didn't swing it, or else I'd be down 32%.
When you're in a quick trade like this, are you all in or all out, or are you scaling in, scaling out?
I'm always going to. So the way that I prefer to do it is I'll scale in, right? So for example, when I saw it kind of have $4 as a support, I went ahead and bought some at about $4.50, right? Let's just say if my total share price, my full size is 1,000. Let's say I bought in about 400 shares. And then as I saw it break 5, I'm buying in another 250. As it tests 5 again, I'm buying a little bit more. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely scaling in, and I'm 100% scaling out, because if I didn't scale out and I was trying to go for the gap, that thing's going to come right back down. And I just left so much profit on the table.
Okay. Makes sense.
Always scaling in, always scaling out. Makes
sense. Okay, so you were trading UNCY yesterday. Here's a question. You know what? That's a good question. Aman Sila. We'll get to that question in a little bit. What else were you trading?
Yesterday was also Disney. I think Disney, we had some unusual options come in when the stock was around $179. I think it went all the way as high as 185. So I played some weekly options there, and that did wonders. So that was all yesterday. So yesterday was a good day. Yesterday I was having steak. Tonight I'm going to be having ramen.
SMH.
Yeah, tonight's been tough. Today rather. Just those small caps and those mid-size are my bread and butter, because that's where you get the high flyers, you get the momentums, and of course today I should have maybe played some blue chips like Netflix, by the way, which I know is something that you love yourself. They've had a nice $10 move today, up 2%.
Yeah, well, since you mentioned the small caps, hold on, and Easy Mike, you also mentioned it. Let's just compare the Russell 2000 and just stack it up against. We can look at the SPY, we can compare it to the Qs, and we'll do the Dow Jones just for fun. And guys, look at the IWM, look at the Russell 2000. It is just getting punished.
Yeah,
punished. Small caps are so out of favor. This is pick your time horizon. It doesn't really matter at any point in the last few months, right? You can go back to June, you can go back to May, go back to April, go back to March even. But the IWM has been lagging hard. We are at a new low of the day right now in the IWM. Small caps are just so out of favor. Tech's been holding up. The Dow Jones is up 2% over the last 3 months. SPY's been okay, but Russell was just been.
Yeah, I feel like since March, as you pointed out, it's been a struggle for small caps to kind of get going. They're a great tool for trading intraday, right? So day trading, but swings, you have to kind of pray a little bit if you're staying up the night, especially if you're up at 2 o'clock looking at futures, seeing what's happening there. Yeah. You're definitely sweating a little bit.
Somebody Easy Mike asked what's in it. So it's so diversified, right? There's like 2,000 holdings in this thing. AMC is the largest holding in the IWM, but it only accounts for like 0.5% of the whole fund, right? So it's so diversified. But yes, AMC is your largest holder. Your second largest holding is NTLA. That's interesting. Which had that huge run off the CRISPR news. But AMC. I mean, speaking of, dear Lord, I mean AMC today. I don't know if you've been trading this one or not.
I did. I went ahead and got out when it broke the $50 level. I was all out. I did YOLO a $500 call out to like, I don't know. I think it was like September. So I'm probably going to lose that. But besides that, nope, I'm all out. Got in at around less than 10, got out at 50.
This is my thought on AMC actually, because I was waiting for it to do something for all this time, right? Because it wasn't doing anything. The more it falls, the more I'm expecting a sudden rip higher, like a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% rally. Like the more it falls, the more I'm like looking for that.
Yeah, the price that I would get back in at is 25. You see that second candle in June, the red one?
Yeah.
I believe that's a low of about 20, what is it? 24. Yeah, there you go. So for me, I'm getting in at 25 for that psychological level, and my stop loss would be slightly below the $24 level, and then I can play that huge bounce that you talked about. But right now, people are just getting out, right? People are trying to maybe find other plays that have a little bit more momentum, because as soon as I wedge broke it, you can kind of slightly see there. I was like, all right, I'm out. Can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
It was basing really well. It was going to go one way or another.
I know.
Unfortunately, it went against me.
It was bunching up, and it was either going to rip or is it going to drop? And it bunched up for a month. Not quite a month, like 2 weeks. And then it did eventually pick a direction, and it was not.
Do me a favor. Can you compare it to GameStop real quick, and since we have it up?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, they look pretty similar.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, let's just zoom way in so we can see over. Just going back to the start of June.
So start of June, AMC, if I'm reading that correctly, is up 75. GameStop's down 30. Is that right?
Well, yeah, AMC had that big rip up on the second. If that's the problem with this, is you can always mess with your time horizons and change the numbers. But if you go back and look, at the last 4 weeks, right? What's today? The 14th. We can go back and just look at the last 4 weeks. They're pretty similar in the last month, right? So down 28%, down 30%. So the last 4 weeks, at least, are pretty correlated. Andrew Garver asking if Schumer made pot illegal. Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Based on the price action today, a bit of a sell the news event. I watched the press conference. We streamed it on Benzinga. Biggest takeaway for me was the admission. Not that it was a surprise that he said we don't have the votes. I don't think anyone expected them to have the votes for this right now, but they're working through it. Right, they want a very, very broad bill that includes banking, that includes some social justice aspects, criminal justice aspects. They want a very, very, very broad bill. This is early days. I would just.
It's going to take some time.
It will take time. I guess I don't know how many times I can get fooled on some of the news events, but I got fooled again today.
Really?
I'm still long and strong, cannabis, and if you think we're like, basically, if you don't think we're heading to legalization, then go ahead and short it, right? But every step, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, right? So we're
still heading in the right direction.
Mental progress. We're heading in the right direction. I'm still a believer that we will have legalization on the federal level one day in the U.S. That will blow the doors off this industry and let the money flood in. So sell the news. Cannabis has been out of favor for a little bit here. You can look at the MJ, which is your largest ETF. You can look at Kronos. Where's my
Do you have access to the short percentage that we just released? The
for
short interest stuff? Because I was just curious how much short interest there is in these cannabis stocks. Because you talk about how if you don't believe in it, short it, but it's kind of like get ready for that monster squeeze that could happen as well.
Not in pro. I mean, short interest data obviously is more art than science.
Yeah, because I know that's something that we've got released in beta. I didn't know if
I'm seeing.
we played with it.
Shoot, actually, do I have it in here? I don't even know if I have the most recent beta.
We might have to get Jonathan in here later on. But
Yeah.
anyway, I was just curious.
Most recent beta. No.
Did you buy more Netflix, by the way? I know when the last time you and I spoke, after Netflix reported, they took a nice little dump.
I don't know.
But you were long indices, right? That's the only way you're long is to the index.
I don't know Netflix outright. Though
Okay.
I do like the chart here.
They report next week.
Yeah, they're Tuesday after the close.
Yep.
So, but wait, back to cannabis for a second. No, I don't think the short interest is particularly high on all these names. I mean, Tilray, that just got stupid, right? Like that was dumb. Everyone knew, even people like me who are bullish cannabis knew that was dumb. And obviously, I'm more bullish. The U.S. names, not Tilray, not Kronos, not Canopy Growth. I'm much more like, MSOS, a bunch of all the MSOs trade OTC. You know what's having a bad day? Speaking of U.S. cannabis stocks, is GrowGen. It's having a very bad day, down 9%. This is the Home Depot of I guess legalization would be bad for them because they're the Home Depot of cannabis. And if legalization happens, then I guess Home Depot becomes the Home Depot of cannabis, not GrowGen. But I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they're taking a beating today, down about 11%. But year to date, I think they'd be outbeating. What are they at? Let's see what we got year to date.
Just compared to the overall cannabis. No, lagging the yeah. But okay, so that's enough of that. Cannabis. So it was a sell the news event. Let's look at how mine are doing. I haven't added to my position in any of these in a very long time.
Yeah.
I've got Cresco. Let's just stack them all up. Let's just do that. So I got Cresco, I got Curaleaf, GTBIF.
You've got Bill Big D saying girlfriend's very happy with Lulu today.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. I didn't look at it. So I've not added to any of these in quite some time. Like not since last year. I would consider adding. I mean, we look range bound at least for
a little bit
on Curaleaf. GTBIF, Green Thumb has been your leader just year to date. But I wouldn't be opposed. I'm not going to rule out adding to any of these positions, but today does not freak me out. What's up with Lulu today? I didn't see.
Lulu's up about. Let me check here. I just had it up in my charts. It's up about 2%, $8.
Was there news? Yeah. Oh yeah, they got the Goldman. That's right. The Goldman rating. 447 price target. Is that a street high? Let's find out.
I love that why is it moving thing. That's awesome.
Come on, Lulu. Oh man. Okay. Go back to my details widget. Go to my calendar. I think they changed something in the calendar. It's annoying me. That is a street high. No, it is not. Raymond James.
500.
500.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And that was back in December, it looks like. So it's been a minute.
Nice.
Are you expecting a strong earnings since we already kind of kicked it off with the banks and stuff? With next week with being Netflix, and of course then you'll get your Amazons and your Apples and everything. Yeah, are you expecting a strong bull market run again or no?
I mean, the numbers are going to be strong, but it's not so much about what the numbers are; it's what the reaction is. If the banks. The banks are kind of their own animal. If they were to foreshadow one thing, it's that the numbers are sort of irrelevant. I mean, you take a look at JP Morgan here. They had blowout numbers that crushed it, and they're down from their report. Goldman Sachs, same story. Look at Bank of America today. Bank of America actually, I think, missed on their sales. Yeah, they missed on their top line. So maybe not the best example, but Citigroup, right? Great report, reversed, right? Wells Fargo, great report. They reversed.
So I think Wells Fargo is the only bank that was green for a while today.
What happened at 11:45 today? That's interesting.
Isn't that when
What's that?
Powell started talking at
Yeah,
noonish?
that was at noon. But I'm surprised to see Wells Fargo moving against trend.
This big move, yeah.
No, the numbers are going to be great. Obviously, right? It's not a question of will the numbers be good. It's just a question of how much this is already baked in. Or the other side of that coin is like for companies like Peloton and let's go to daily Peloton and Zoom, right? And Teladoc. They're going to have to answer, and Roku, maybe even Netflix for that matter. They're going to have to answer for, okay, you guys have had the winds at your backs for over a year now.
Yeah.
Now what? Right?
Yeah.
They're going to have really tough comps year over year. That's not a surprise. Everyone knows this, but it's going to be like, okay, now what though? What do you say about the rest of this year? What do you say about next year? Peloton. I mean, they caught a downgrade this morning from Whitebush for that very reason, because it's like the future is uncertain now that we're reopening, right? Or actually, we're already reopened in the U.S. So, I don't know.
I mean, Peloton's gonna obviously have a hard time getting the subs, but it's all about, hey, can you sustain the subs that you've gotten, right, and keep them engaged in your platform, in your content, in your programs, and whatever else they provide. Can you keep them engaged?
Yeah. We should mention Apple is having the best day, leading the bunch today.
I need Apple to break 150.
It's about to.
I hope so.
That's what we said this morning is the next psychological number, 150. It's going to break it. Or at least it'll get on the doorstep. I don't know.
Do you know Apple is already 2.5 trillion? I feel like just maybe 2-3 months ago we were celebrating 2 trillion.
It's not. They did not gain. No, they did not gain 5.
No, I'm not saying it's actually 2 months ago, but go see if you can find it. Or matter of fact, I will. Hold on.
They did not gain $500 billion in market cap.
When did Apple hit 2 trillion?
I guess it's positive.
Apple hit trillion, and I'm sorry. So let's go on back up. Apple first reached a trillion market cap in 2018,
right?
And they reached the 2 trillion on July 31st of 2020. So I guess in a year, and someone in the chat correct me, please, but it looks like in a year they gained $500 billion market cap.
Well, when that happened, you said July 21st?
July, yeah. It said July 31st.
Oh, there's that gap up. So yeah, so you're right, because they had that the split. So if that happened when Apple was at $105, I guess that makes sense because we're at 150 almost.
We're at 150, and of course they're buying back shares, I believe, right? So it's kind of like, hey, that's you're taking shares out of the float.
Mind blowing,
right? Yeah. Thank you, Chris. So for me, it's crazy. You've got Apple $500 billion away from 3. You've got Facebook that hit $1 trillion and slowly crumbled back on down to earth, and you've got Amazon maybe about less than $250 billion.
Crazy stuff. Okay, I wanted to get to this question it was from Twitter, and it was from Amonstila 702. How did you find the best stocks when you started? This is such a broad question. So how did you find the best stocks? If I assume best, you mean best stocks to trade, and I assume you are a short-term. I'm just making some assumptions here. You're a short-term day trader or a swing trader, but best is subjective. First thing, I'm in Sela, if I'm saying that right. A lot of people just simply will follow the volume, right? Follow the volume. So I've got a scanner tool here on Benzinga Pro. I'm going to sort this column. I'm going to sort this table by I'm going to sort by volume. And people just will go where the action. That's where the action is, right? A lot of people just go where the action is. And so, let me sort by. Wrong thing. So that's one thing, right? Follow the volume. I don't know why this is. I don't know why that data is wrong, or it's not sorted in the way I wanted to. So that's one thing. Follow the volume, or follow the movers, right? Follow the leaders up or the leaders down, right? Your biggest movers of the day. Those are two very, very common things that people look at when they're trying to find, okay, what do I trade today? Right? Go where the volume is, go where the price action is. You can use indicators. I don't know what indicators you need to use. Is that, well, I know you use VWAP, right? Wait, I lost you. I mean, I see you talking.
Yeah, yeah, my apologies. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones to use intraday is VWAP. Yes.
Yeah. So as an intraday indicator, pull up your
Yeah.
VWAP.
For me, it's something, matter of fact, whoever asked that question, anyone in the chat, you can also YouTube, I think it's called like, now I'm blanking, but pretty much like you wait for the 15-minute high and low and you trade the breakout. I'm totally blanking on the word, but that's what I like to do sometimes as well. So for example, right, Netflix reports next week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to see what kind of move Netflix makes, right? And if it's positive, and if I see unusual options coming into it, then I know that, hey, big money is trying to go in for a bigger move. And then I'm going to look for patterns. I'm going to try to play that breakout based on charts, psychological numbers, whatever. So pretty much what Spencer said, what moves are happening? And is it just somebody dumping or pumping the stock? How do you find out? You look for the news. Is there any news? Is there a catalyst? Was there an upgrade? Was there insider buying? What happened? Why are people putting money into the stock? That way you don't get sucked into any pump and dumps and blow your account. So
Yeah. Generally speaking, the more lower priced stocks you trade, the greater the likelihood that those stocks are moving off of stupid pump and dumps, which is fine. If that works for you, then that's great. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I've never had success trading like stocks that I know are being pumped up. I've never had success doing that.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I think a lot of times when people ask those questions or what are the best stocks to trade, they just want to be a Swiss Army knife. They want to trade everything as long as it makes them money. But it's like, no, you got to figure out what type of trader you are, what type of risk you can tolerate, right? Like, do you want something that'll go 20% against you in a minute and it'll get halted on a downtick? Or do you want like your blue chips where you have a little bit of sustainability to what's going on and it won't be manipulated as much, right? So you got to ask yourself, hey, what's my account balance? What am I playing with? And what kind of trader am I? Short-term, long-term, small cap, micro cap, and then find your identity just like we do in real life with everything outside the market, you know?
Yeah. There's no right way to trade. The only right way to trade is the way that works for you. And if that means we're loading up on lower price stocks, penny stocks, and if that works, great. If it means trading the big caps, the FANG stocks, the boring, Cokes of the world, Pepsis, those guys, Bank Americas, the banks, which are super boring. If that works for you, then great, right? Everyone's got their own thing. Like for me personally, I have really never had much success just making intraday trades. Because first off, like I'm trying to work during the day and I don't have time to like babysit a position. I like doing like swing trades out a couple weeks or a couple months, and I like doing longer term stuff too. But just day trading is not for me, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be for everyone.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I'm not a fan of swing trading because that overnight stress, and that's probably because I'm probably a little bit too heavy into the position. But for me, I want to know that when I go to sleep, no matter if the market tanks 20%, I won't cry. You know what I mean? Like for me, I like the intraday trading more than the swing trading.
All right, so I'm going back to my scanner in Benzinga Pro. I'm going to sort by change percent from the open, which is my favorite.
Mitch is saying, not many ideas out right now. Time to go cash.
If you're a trader
sure,
and you don't have ideas, then yeah, maybe you sit in like a broad fund. Wait, I'm distracted here. Sort by what is going on with this? Why is my thing all wrong? Let me just do this.
We can also pretend like the market pays attention to what you and I are saying because the market's been on a downtick, not by a lot. I'm not going to say it's burning hell. But I feel like anytime you and I talk, the market just goes down. Why can't the market just be happy with you and I?
I don't know. I just pulled up the biggest gainers and losers from the open. So what do we have here? We have. I wanted to talk about DD. DD's
Okay.
got a nice buy the dip day. DD Global up 2.5%. Nothing goes straight down, obviously. And you're getting a nice bounce. You had a couple of days there, bounced off the lows, and yeah, you know what? I might want to nibble on this. I know I've been saying how much I hate China, and I do, and I would never invest in a company, but in a Chinese stock, but for like a short like day trade for a couple of days or whatever, you've got a level to lean on, do you not? I mean, you got a series of lows in the same area, right? You got a series of lows. What's that low? 1122, 1112, 1106, right? $11. You got some lows in the 11 area. You're out. That's not a terrible setup, actually.
Yeah, for me, I like the name JD better when it comes to the China names. That's the one that I played. I think it hit about 71 during the pullback. And so for me, I played that one as a swing, and break of 70 was my support. And that's when I was going to get out of the trade. And why did I pick that? You can see when you go a little bit left, as you almost had it right there, 70 has been that support where you see that little round bottom there. Well, a little bit to your right, like mid-June.
Yeah, I got you. Right there.
Yep, there you go. Right. So you can see, hey, 70 was that support. And when it came back down about a few days ago, because of the whole China situation, bounced right back off of 70, right? So you're risking $1 and you got $4 or $5 out of the move. So when you are trading, that's how you want to kind of figure it out. Not just where your profit target is, but where your stop loss is going to be as well.
Great. Yeah, always have your out, right? So like when I set up that DD thing, even though I don't like the company, I don't like the idea of like investing in a China-based company right after what they just pulled, right? That was shady as all.
They waited till they went public and then said, "Oh yeah, we're going to stop everything."
But if you buy it, at least you have an out. At least to have a level, I would stop. So worst case scenario, I lose $1.50, right? Or like
if you're saying if you bought in $10 was your level.
11. If I bought it right now, I would lose it.
Right now,
worst case, I'm losing $1.50, right? And I'll take that loss. I'll take the loss.
Yeah,
I'm risking.
Where would you take the profit though? Let me ask you that.
Yeah, that's a tougher one. So you obviously want to see it fill that gap. What was the low there? $14. So
you're about 2. Yeah, it's not exactly a 2-to-1, but at least it's better than a 1-to-1.
Honestly, this is the more I talk about this, the more I want to do it. It's 359 though. I'm not going to make a trade in the next 20.
Do it for the culture.
No, because I don't even have my app open. I don't even it would here. I mean, you're trying to beat the clock.
Guys, listen. If we go ahead and get 50 likes, you'll have Spencer tomorrow at the open purchase DD in front of everyone.
I mean, I could try to buy it after hours, but I know I'll get picked off somehow. Anyway, there's your closing, because I know when I buy it, I'm trading against like people like Dennis, and he'll just trade circles around me. Anyway,
I'm gonna be the one buying it up and dumping it on you.
There is your closing bell. Green in the S&P 500, green in the Nasdaq, green in the Dow, red. Look at the IWM, guys. Did it close at the low of the day?
Can I just say this? The worst feeling is when the market, in terms of SPY and everything, is green, but your portfolio is red for the day. That just kills me.
I can sympathize. There are a lot of people, especially a few months ago. That's a good point, Zunaid. So a couple months ago, markets were at all-time highs, and maybe it was around late May, June, and like a lot of people owned the ARKK and the stuff in it, right? Like these high growth tech stocks.
Yeah.
They were getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Well, if you overlay the SPY against that,
painful.
You have people saying, "Oh, but guys, I don't understand. The stock market's at all-time highs." I'm like, yes, but don't be smug. There are people out there that don't own SPY, that own all growth tech, and they're getting slaughtered. So have some freaking sympathy.
Before I go, one last point, because we talk about psychological numbers. Can you remove the compare real quick?
Yeah. Look
at what number the ETF bounced off of. Just about
100.
100. That's psychological level, baby.
Psychological level. All right.
Yeah.
What's up now? We got Scotch, Stocks, and Sticks live right now. And the stream will hopefully redirect to that. Zunaid, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for hanging out with me, man. Thank all of you for hanging out with us on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch. Smash the like as always. Please remember all the information from the show and all of our shows are meant to be used for purposes, not for investing or trading advice. And
don't go all in on DD. That's what that means.
Probably don't buy that stock. It's probably a terrible idea, but what do I know? All right, Scott Stocks and Sticks is live. Zunaid is out. I'm out. We'll see you guys in a little bit.
See ya.